May I cordially invite Professor Chandu de Silva, our chief guest, to address the gathering.
Good morning. Dr. Indira Kahavita, President of the Sri Lanka College of Dermatologists. Dr. Chandani Udagedara, Orator. Past Presidents of the Sri Lanka College of Dermatologists, Council members, colleagues. It is indeed a great honor to be participating at your chief guest, because I think I have been associated with the College of Dermatologists for a very, very long time. And when Indira invited me, I was wondering what I should speak on. Should I just congratulate everyone, wish you all the best, or should I say something which would be of usefulness to the college? And I thought I will speak on something which is the very subject that brought me into close association with y'all, dermatopathology. And I have titled it, The Past, the Present, and the Future. Now, that might seem very inappropriate in today's trendy words, because we are supposed to live in the present, be very mindful of the present, and not be bothered about the past or the future. But the present that you enjoy today as a dynamic, successful college is the future that was envisioned by giants of the past, who were bold enough and committed enough to strive for a cause. Thus, it is at moments like this that we must briefly dwell on and get encouraged by the past, so that you can plan for even greater heights in the future by planning in the present. So, we are the future that was the past, and we should be shaping the future which will be the present in years to come. What about the past? You can see how long my association is, because I first started dermatopathology, meeting dermatologists at the clinico-pathological meeting in dermatology, which was in existence even in 1985, the same year that the Sri Lanka Association of Dermatology started. And I think people like Ganga might remember, it was very different from the type of MDT that we have now. Strangely, the conference was held in my room. I had actually joined pathology to study medicine, and I found it a great nuisance that the dermatologists were coming into my room every Wednesday and not going off till about 12 o'clock. Now, why are they not going off quickly? That is because we didn't have multi-head microscopes like what you have now. Professor Amarasekara used to focus on a granuloma, then he used to show Dr. D.N. Athukorala, then the registrars, then us, and then to show the multinucleated giant cell, he would sit down again and focus. So you can imagine how long this took, okay? But it paid its dividends, because it was the clinico-pathological discussions that paved the way for better recognition of certain entities like mycosis fungoides. In 1990, the late 1990s, there was no mycosis fungoides. It was not a well-known disease in this country. But then, because of these clinico-pathological discussions which were going on, in the department, we realized that it was indeed, more common than people used to think it was. And look at the foresight of this great scholar, Dr. W.D.H. Fernando and Dr. D.N. Athukorala, because they were instrumental in starting a cutaneous lymphoma study group in 2000, before the British group started, actually. And Dr. W.D.H. Fernando actually was instrumental in sending me abroad to participate at the inauguration of the British Cutaneous Lymphoma Study Group in 2000. And it is a great honor to be speaking at this venue when Dr. W.D.H. Fernando is being felicitated at an oration at the same occasion. And it was also these clinico-pathological meetings that led us to plan various studies like on leprosy, where I learned so many things from Dr. D.N. Athukorala. It also led to many publications, and you can see that pathology was given a prominence by your college because we had several articles in the Sri Lanka Journal of Dermatology in the very third issue and the fourth issue. Then down the course of time, the PGIM started, and you all introduced dermatopathology lectures into your course, and also examination on dermatopathology at the exam. And I remember during the tenure of Dr. Satgurunathan, we had an interactive dermatopathology workshop on computers as a pre-congress workshop. So that was the past of the college. What about the present? Now I think clinico-pathological meetings are held in many hospitals. It has become a standard event. A course of lectures on dermatopathology is given to postgraduate training with an examination component as well. And there are so many update lectures on dermatopathology during your annual academic sessions. So we should be very happy with the present. But what can we plan for the future, as Dr. Indira Kahavita was also mentioning? That, by the way, is not a picture of sunset. It's a picture of sunrise, okay? So I hope there will be sunrise for dermatopathology in this country. Now, what makes dermatopathology so unique? It is because different clinical entities may have the same histopathological appearance, and a single clinical entity may have different histological appearances. For example, the simple eczema, which is the commonest disease, as your president mentioned, has so many stages, and the histology is different in different stages. Today's oration, leishmaniasis, the different stages are so very different. And this is what makes clinico-pathological correlation extremely important. Now, when it comes to dermatologists, I have worked with the best in the country, and they are extremely good in their pathology, okay? And some of them are actually better than general pathologists who has, other areas to deal with. But what about the pathologist? Even at the current MDT meetings, we are presented the case and we are told, macule or papule or nodule, and it doesn't make sense to us. And therefore, you have to balance this scale where the histopathology will also have to come to the level of the dermatologist, because if the histopathologist have some clinical sense of diagnosis, they will be much better diagnosticians. And this is why in our Colombo MDT, we actually have the pictures of the cases. Because, so it's very, very important to educate pathologists on the basics of dermatology. So there is no question about improving histopathology knowledge among dermatologists, because you are doing that already. But you have to improve the clinical knowledge among pathologists. And you can kill two birds with one stone by commencing a dermatopathology course in this country. And I hope you will take this seriously, because again, thanks to Dr. Indira Kahavita's initiative, I visited the annual academic sessions of the Dermatopathology Society of India. And it's a huge event, and the presentations are mostly actually by dermatologists. I mean, you all know that even in Germany, it is the dermatologists who do pathology. But that will not happen in Sri Lanka of the, the logistics. And therefore, you will have to, bring up these people so that they become interested in dermatology. And if you run a dermatopathology course, I'm sure the Dermatopathology Society of India will help you a lot. And I'm willing to help on our part. Then I visited your website and I saw that there's a lot of online teaching going on in your website. So, and we are having a lot of MDTs in different centers. If you just collect 3 cases per month and put them as dermatopathology case of the month, you know, the Kandy people will learn from Colombo, the Colombo people will learn from Kandy, and it will be open to the whole country, and that will take your college to another level. Now, Indira, I'm so glad that you talked about research, which is of paramount importance to any field. We need to increase the research output in dermatopathology as well. Now, how do we do that? What you should do is try to encourage some MD research projects which have a dermatopathology part to it. At the same time, we should encourage people to do more research on dermatopathology. To just give one example, I put that up earlier. I did a retrospective analysis of some 1,100 skin tumors way back in 2000, published in your journal. And since then, there has been nothing, you know, on skin tumors in Sri Lanka, at least no publications. And so I have got a MD student now to go through these tumors again and analyze them and see whether there is a difference in the pattern of tumors. So if you have, let's say, a topic like mycosis fungoides, which I will be talking to you about tomorrow, if you select some topics with a dermatopathology component and have a multi-center study, a well-planned out study, which will be accepted by the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine as well, where the same research project will have a clinical component and a histopathology component. So the histopathology component can be done by our training, and the clinical component can be done by your training. Now look at the benefits. The benefits is that if you just have 2 projects like that per year, there will be 4 people working together. And in 5 years, you will have 20 people who have, you know, formed a close relationship or rapport with the pathologist. And then the country will be full of people who are interested in this type of research. And it's very easily doable. And also to increase the number of research presentations on dermatopathology as such. So Indira, I think the baton has now been given to you to run the next part of the relay. And I hope, as if I quote from the poem If by Rudyard Kipling, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. So that is what you have to do during your tenure. Fill it with so much content which will actually plan the future, which one day will be the present. And then we will be truly, you know, paying tribute to those giants who has formed what is today. And improving the standard of dermatopathology will contribute immensely to improve the practice of dermatology in this country. Thank you very much for inviting me. Best wishes for the annual academic sessions, which I think will be a resounding success. And I also wish you all the best for future activities of the Sri Lanka College of Dermatologists. Thank you.